who are interested in West African music are going to be there with.
I know, but didn't ask my opinion.
It's very bad.
Tak já vám přeju dobrý večer. Tak dobrý večer všem, kdo přišli. A protože nás není tolik, můj návrh je, pojďme si udělat takový domácký prostředí a kdokoliv ještě další přijde, nech se posadí blíž k nám. So I'm starting in Czech, but then I shall turn to English. A jenom než vlastně udělám úvod, tak rád bych představil všechny naše hosty. Dr. Lucy Duran from London, Hawa Kasemadi Diabate, zpěvačka z Mali, Fode Lassana Diabate a Mamadou Kouyaté. Všechny tři hudebníky z tria Dakali jste mohli před chvíli vidět na živém koncertě v Gongu, kde je uváděla světově renomovaná specialistka na hudbu západní Afriky Dr. Lucy Duran. A já mám to potěšení tady s nima být na pódiu a ptát se jich a dávat prostor vám k otázkám. A teď bych vás tady nejprve přivítal na debatě, která bude speciálně o hudbě západní Afriky i o hudbě dalších zajímavých míst z části. A dalším tématem bude také projekt Growing Into Music, jehož autorkou je Lucy Duran. To je projekt, jak dokážou staleté tradice se velmi přirozeně mísit vlastně se současným hudebním jazykem, což se daří v některých místech lépe, v některých hůře, ale speciálně v Mali tento druh spojení funguje velmi dobře. Proč? To se za chvíli dozvíme. Průvodcem nám bude Dr. Lucy Duran, která přednáší na Londýnské škole afrických a asijských studií. Lucy Duran má velmi hluboké a dlouholeté znalosti ohledně hudby západní Afriky a za poslední 3 dekády produkovala i řadu alb, na nichž se Afričané střetávají s hudebníky z Evropy a někdy dokonce s bluesmeny ze Severní Ameriky a hledají, co tu Afriku a Severní Ameriku a speciálně ty černošské tradice spojuje. Její zatím posledním projektem je album La Dilikan, na němž vedle tria Dakali hraje Kronos Quartet z Kalifornie. Ale k tomu se podrobněji dostaneme ještě později. Video zachycující tento projekt máme připravené, že we can watch the video with Kronos Quartet later. Sorry? Why not now? OK. Tak prosím, video La Delican, jestli si může pustit teď. It should go on for many more minutes. But anyway, tell us how this was created or whose idea it was. Because there are so many other projects with Kronos Quartet and musicians from very special parts of the world. But I think this worked much more. It was much stronger than some of the other ones. So you have maybe some explanation.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for coming. I know there's some great music out there. Did any of you go to the concert to see Trio da Cali just now? Oh, okay. Well, I'll be very brief. The project started because the Kronos Quartet, who are a famous quartet, they wanted to work with some musicians from Mali, but they wanted to find some musicians who were great, but not necessarily very famous, so not already very well known out there, and they asked me to suggest. So I suggested these three musicians who had worked together, but they hadn't formed a trio yet. So Lassana Diabate, who I've worked with since I met him in 1999 on a project that I did, an album that I did with Taj Mahal and Toumani Diabate, the kora player from Mali. And so with Lassana, and then this amazing voice, Awa Kassemadi. She's the daughter of Mali's greatest singer, alas. He just passed away only last month. Kassemadi Diabate, her father. And then Madou is the son of Basekou Kouyaté, who's a great musician, one of Mali's greatest musicians. I don't know, have you heard of Basekou Kouyaté? Seen his group, Ngoniba? They're very, very well known. He tours the world. So that's Madou, his oldest son. So I thought that these three would make an interesting contrast with the strings of Kronos Quartet. That's how it started in 2012, back in 2012.
And how did it work? Because you have to put together European classical music or instruments with Western African instruments.
Okay.
So that was...
Lassana,
oui.
C'était comment le travail avec Kronos Quartet? C'était difficile? Quels étaient les défis?
Bon, c'était pas... Good evening. My name is Lassana Diabate, balafon player. Le travail, c'était pas difficile, mais c'était ambitieux.
He said that the project wasn't that difficult, but it was very ambitious.
Puisqu'il faut reconnaître, Kronos Quartet, c'est un grand groupe qui travaille beaucoup. Donc pour nous, on avait l'inquiétude avec les instruments traditionnels qui sont à la fois percussion, mélodique et les cordes.
So he said, Kronos Quartet are a very, very well-known group. They do a lot of collaborations, but these three were concerned they were worried about how their traditional music and traditional instruments would work with violins, viola and cellos.
Après avoir fait quelques enregistrements, et c'est là-bas qu'on s'est rendu compte que notre musique est plus proche de la musique classique que du blues ou du jazz.
So in the process of working with the Kronos Quartet, we recorded their music and we sent recordings to the Kronos Quartet, and then the Kronos Quartet notated the music, put it into scores, and when they had their first encounter, which was in December 2013, that's where they discovered that actually they felt they had more in common with classical music than with blues or jazz.
Donc on était sûr de nous avant l'enregistrement, malgré que le temps d'enregistrement c'était 6 jours, mais on était sûr que c'est un projet qui va être le meilleur.
And they only had 6 days to record, I think it was actually less, pas 6 jours, c'était 5 jours.
5 jours.
Well, 5 days in the studio to record this very ambitious project, and yet it worked really well. And Lassana, you know, you are the oral tradition, and Kronos Quartet are the written tradition. So what were the difficulties there? Non, il a bien compris.
Bon, nous, on avait cette inquiétude puisque eux, ils écrivent tout. Ils lisent, ils ne peuvent pas jouer comme ça. Bon, nous, on ne peut pas écrire, mais bon. Ils ont quelqu'un qui écrit leur musique, qui est très bien, il faut reconnaître. Oui, puisque après avoir fait l'enregistrement à Bamako, les envoyer des enregistrements, ils ont refait la musique comme ils sont nés au Mali, grandis là-bas.
So it's true, he says, that, you know, they were worried about how it would work because when they play, it's a flexible thing. You know, depending on where they are, who's in the audience, they improvise. And so each time they play a piece of music, it's different every single time. But with the Kronos Quartet, because they write down their music, every single time it's the same. However, what happened with the Kronos was that these recordings that we sent to them, they were all notated by the arranger of the Kronos Quartet. He's called Jacob Garchik, very brilliant musician. And then we met with them, with the Kronos and Jacob, and we had some time to rehearse together, and we had a lot of adjusting to do. We had a lot to find out about each other's music. On a eu beaucoup la première rencontre, c'était...
À Londres?
Pas à Londres, non. La deuxième rencontre, c'était à San Francisco.
À San Francisco,
Et puis
quand ils ont joué Samuel.
Oui.
Donc ça nous a rassurés. C'est là-bas qu'on a compris que cette collaboration peut être le meilleur que je n'ai jamais fait.
So when they heard the very first arrangements by the Kronos of their music, they were relieved to hear that the spirit of their music was very well represented by the Kronos Quartet.
Voilà, j'ai eu la chance de faire la collaboration avec du blues, avec du Cuba, avec du
So
jazz.
Lassana's had the chance to record music with many different types of art, with many different artists from different genres like blues and jazz.
Mais pour moi, c'est le meilleur mélange.
But for him, the best collaboration that he's done has been with Kronos. On va demander à Awa. Bon, demande à Awa si c'était comment la collaboration pour elle avec.
Awa.
Donc, la
Collaboration Kronos, c'est.
Ani Kronos ka baara ɲɔgɔnya a daminɛ la a ma nɔgɔn mais an y'a daminɛ tuma min ɲɔgɔn fɛ vraiment a diyara kojugu parce que ne bɛ dɔnkili da cogo min Bamako Mali la ani yan dɔnkili da cogo o tɛ kelen ye quoi.
So what she says, Awa says that it was quite difficult in the beginning to do this collaboration, especially for her because she's the singer and she's the one who does the improvising a lot, you know, and every time she sings a song, she'll sing it differently. So, and the way that she sings is not a way that the Kronos Quartet had ever encountered before. Whereas, you know, these two, they play musical instruments, and, you know, a musical instrument is a musical instrument, but the voice, this is the distinctive thing. So that was the real challenge, was the voice. Oui?
Parce que Kronos, olu bɛ fɔli kɛ classique, blues, Bon, an bɛ dɔnkili da cogo min, an bɛ pɛrɛn ka dɔnkili da ka pɛrɛn. Bon, ka dɔnkili da ni force ye. Oui. Oui.
Okay. So one of the things that she says that was a challenge for her personally was that when she sings in Mali, it's usually at outdoor events, at like wedding parties in the street, and she has to sing really, really loud and force her voice. But with the Kronos Quartet, she had to remember what it's like to sing quietly and, you know, with a different kind of flavor. And so the Kronos Quartet, in their musical notation of their pieces, you know, they had to stick absolutely to how they had arranged it, whereas with them, it's the oral tradition and it's a much more flexible thing.
Maybe now it's time to explain that besides this difference that Malian music is not written and European is, so that the oral transmission of the tradition also means that with every generation the music updates, which means it's still modern. There's no museum exhibits.
Yes, this is true. Let me put this to Lassana, because on the project that I did called Growing Into Music, which shows how, for 3 years we were filming in Mali and other countries, showing how children learn music in an informal environment in the family rather than in a music school, and certainly not through musical notation. So my guide on this project was Lassana Djabate, who is here with us, the leader of Trio Dakali. So I'm going to ask him. Donc, Lassana, c'était comment pour toi l'expérience? Qu'est-ce que tu as appris avec le projet Growing Into Music? Qu'est-ce que tu as appris de l'éducation musicale?
Bon, pour moi, j'ai appris beaucoup de choses avec Growing Week.
Avec quoi?
Avec le projet des enfants et l'éducation qu'on a fait. Grandir la musique, dans la musique. Ça m'a donné beaucoup d'opportunités, d'abord pédagogiques.
So he understood many things working on this project, Growing Into Music, which in French is called Grandir dans la musique. And he learned about, he hadn't ever thought about it, but he learned about musical pedagogy.
Et ça m'a même donné la chance de connaître les enfants quel enfant est capable d'être la star de demain, repérer ça depuis qu'il est petit.
So, and one thing that was interesting for him in this project was to realize that he could spot straight away the children who were going to turn into real musicians, even when they were very little.
Donc pour moi aussi, c'est comme si ce projet-là m'a donné beaucoup de chance. C'est comme si moi-même j'étais à l'école pour apprendre, puisque voilà, ça m'a servi beaucoup de choses.
So he says it's for him working on this project where we were filming children, including the children of the daughter of Awa, Rokia Traoré, who's now a very popular traditional singer, well, a very popular singer in Mali. And Madou, we worked with his family, Basekou Kouyaté, and we followed his cousins and sisters as they grew into music. So, you know, so they've all participated in this project. And and Lassana says that he thought it made him think a lot about musical education, and it made him realize that he had a sense of who would be the great musicians when they got older. So, Madou. No. So Madhu is the eldest son of the great musician Baseku Kuyate. And Madhu has...
The instrument is ngoni.
The instrument is called ngoni. It's a lute. It's a kind of a lute. Some say that it's the origin of the banjo. Madhu is an interesting case, and I'm going to ask him, quand est-ce que tu as commencé à jouer le ngoni? Raconte-nous l'histoire, comment tu as commencé ça? Non, mais il faut que toi tu le dis et moi je traduis.
Bon, j'ai commencé à jouer de ngoni il n'y a pas trop longtemps. Bon.
He says, he's a master musician now, and he says actually he didn't start to learn until quite late on in his life.
Avant, je n'aimais pas même les sons de ngoni, mais
Before he started to learn, which was, tu avais quel âge?
j'avais 16, 17 comme ça.
C'était 2006, quelque chose, 2007, non?
Non, 2007, ça me trouvera que j'ai joué avec Andra.
Ah, ok, 2006.
Non.
C'était le moment qu'on a commencé avec le disque de Segu Blue.
Non, avant, le moment que vous avez commencé à faire Segu Blue, ça me trouvera que moi aussi j'ai Goniba Junior.
Oh, ok, donc ça fait 12 ans, quelque chose comme ça?
Voilà.
So he started to play the ngoni something like 12 years ago. Tu as quel âge maintenant?
Moi j'ai 30 ans maintenant.
Combien?
30.
So he's 30. So he started when he was 18, which is quite late to start playing music. But of course, he'd grown up listening to music. And he said that when he started to play this instrument, the ngoni, his father forced him to play it. And at that point, he did not like the music, and he didn't even like the sound of this instrument.
So how many types of ngoni do you have in West Africa? Is it the bass ngoni, the...
Il y a combien de types de ngoni?
Il y a 4 types de ngoni.
There are 4 kinds.
Ngonimba,
The big bass ngoni,
comme ngoni medium aussi,
ngoni medium,
ngoni solo et puis ngoni basse.
solo ngoni, and bass ngoni. But this is in his group. This is not, there are many, many different kinds of ngoni in West Africa. It's a very, very old instrument. It's a very widespread instrument.
You mentioned it was origin of the banjo because the slaves took ngoni to Northern America.
Well, enslaved Africans recreated this instrument on the other side of the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, the topic of this conversation is actually tradition with a contemporary voice, and I thought it'd be great to talk a little bit about tradition.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we could play something from the USB stick, please. So I thought it would be interesting to hear one of the very earliest recordings, field recordings, of traditional music from Mali, and it features the great aunt of Awa. I'm sure she has never heard this recording, so I'll be curious to hear what she has to say. This is the one. Have you got into that file yet? It's the one that's called Alberts, A. Alberts. Just play that. C'est Sira Mori Diabate. 49. So what you just heard was a recording made in Mali in 1949. That's a long time ago. That's 69, nearly 70 years ago. 71 years ago? No.
69.
69 years ago. And it features the family of Awa. Awa, tu as entendu ça encore avant? Yame. For signa follow.
Morso ni sinya flana ndi kame.
It's her second time to hear this recording. So I'm going to ask the question in English and then again, so just so that you know what I'm asking her. So how much has the tradition changed from this? This is a traditional piece called Kaira. Tradition a changé à Yelema. Yelema Chukudi.
Bon, kunu nimbi dongli da chuku tekelinye nyebe ka nya yele ka tafe quoi. Hein? Donc ni ko be ka changer donc toujours dongli da chuku be changer parce que follow mo be dongli la main oluka dongli be chuku mi hein? Ouais. Oka donglu bere kunye akor keleni surtout sira mori ale kunte foyi kalama.
Et elles disent que avant ils avaient l'expérience pour composer mais pas de technique.
Okay, so he said, so that's an interesting thing that she's just said. She said, in those times, they didn't have any kind of technical facilities, but what they had was the imagination to compose.
Voilà, mais franchement, ils avaient vraiment une tonalité, comment, je ne sais pas, composer, voir quelque chose tout de suite, échanger, faire ça dans la musique. Ils étaient plus rapides.
So they had the talent in those days to just to see something or to be in a situation and straight away a song would come out of that.
Mais bon, comme il n'y avait pas de Facebook, il n'y avait pas grand chose, donc c'était difficile d'essayer d'apporter d'autres genres de musique pour faire la mélange. Donc c'était
So, but because they didn't really have, obviously they didn't have any social media in those days, wow. So the music just stayed in the region, and it stayed more, you know, closer to how it was first performed. Mais la chanson, but this song that we just heard, Kaira, when, you know, we could hear the balafon, the xylophone in it, and a lot of the song remains the same. La chanson continue à être la même.
La chanson continue presque la même, mais avec la tonalité différente, puisque avant c'était l'accord qui n'a rien à voir avec le piano.
So he says what's changed is that the tunings were very different then, whereas now even the balafon is tuned to a piano.
Et même nous maintenant qui avons connu le piano, guitare, quand nous maintenant on écoute, exemple, Awa à sa génération et Madou, si ils écoutent Siramori, ils ont l'impression que tout est désaccord.
So when they listen nowadays, these two, if they listen to this great singer, her great aunt, Siramori, who composed so many things, they feel that it's out of tune.
Puisque avant tout était l'oreille. Maintenant, on a les machines pour accorder bien.
Everything was tuned by ear in the old days, and now everything is done by machine.
On a la chance d'écouter beaucoup de chanteurs, prendre leur style, essayer de mettre ça.
So yeah, everything is now technical. I'd like to move to another song, if I may. Oh, we need to go.
I think we should also explain that the musical tradition in West Africa is so strong also because it's practiced in the families, where the art goes from parents to children. So if you are born into griot or jolly family, so you become a 100% musician, which is actually the case.
Well, you might, or you might not. I mean, you know, not all the children in these families have become professional musicians.
But is it the case that you have families for balafon, families for other instruments,
well,
or is it mixed?
No, you have families who have played certain instruments. Mbaseku's family plays the ngoni, the lute. Lasana's family plays the balafon. In our family, they play ngoni, they play tamani, and Baseku's family. You know, if you're a jelly, if you're a griot, you can play any instrument or you can sing. C'est pas nécessairement que chaque famille a leur instrument, c'est fini.
Non, ça appartient à tout le monde, mais seulement, exemple, moi, mon père jouait la guitare.
His dad, as an example, his dad played the guitar.
Voilà, il jouait, ce qu'il m'a expliqué, il jouait le balafon quand il était très très jeune.
When he was very, very young, he played the balafon.
Mais quand il commence à avoir 15 ans, il a pris la guitare.
But when he grew up, as he was growing up, from the age of 15, he started playing guitar.
D'après ce qu'il m'a dit, il dit quand il est arrivé à Conakry maintenant comme aventurier, il a vu que le balafon était en mode.
So then he came from outside the capital of Guinea, but when he arrived in Guinea's capital in Conakry, he realized that actually the balafon, this xylophone, was very fashionable.
Voilà, puisque le balafon, quand tu joues le balafon, c'était facile de gagner ta vie que de jouer la guitare.
So it was easier to earn your money, your living, by playing balafon than through the guitar.
Donc il était obligé de laisser la guitare.
So he had to leave the guitar.
Apprendre encore pour se perfectionner pour commencer à jouer.
And go back to the balafon. I'd like to play, if I may, I'd like to play, you know, one of the songs on the album with Trio Dakali and Kronos Quartet is called Kanimba. Can we hear a little bit of Kanimba with Trio Dakali, Kronos Quartet? This song was composed by her great aunt, the one that you just heard on the field recording.
Kanimba.
No, not that one. The other one.
Kanimba, 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 kanimba. Kanimba, otene kanimba, jonti baya sigiro kanimba, tonya oro kanimba, otene. Kanimba, otene, otene, kanimba, sabule ninkola kanimba, tonya oro kanimba, otene. Ite wili danyala balafola ite wili danyala Jete wili danyala balafola ite wili danyala Tonga wili danyala jede nimbe wili danyala kanimba tonya woro kanimba wapene.
Okay, thank you. Now, can we hear, I'm going to ask you to play the other Kanimba. So now we're going to hear a version of this song, which, let me remind you, was composed by her great aunt, who you heard in the field recording. So this is a version that was recorded in 1970 by a group, a dance band from Guinea called Horoya. So this is their version of her great aunt's song. Horoya.
Kanimba, wotene kanimba, jonki bai nyasigido. Kanimba la bila nine kanimba, motiba ni nyasigido. Yombeni danyale, yombeni danjogole, kana fili konima, koneka fili konima, kana fili tamama, kaloka eka fili tamama, kana fili poloma, kama ka fili poloma, kana fili dongilido, subate eka fili dongilido, yombeni danyale, rabini eka fili poloma, kana fili bududo. Ka wili bududo, aluka wili bara, ono ya bani ka wili danjogoda. Kane bala bila nine kanuma, motiba ni nyasigido.
So, okay, you can see there, okay, well, what we heard, the first version of Kanimba, first version was Trio Dakali with the Kronos Quartet, recorded in 2016 and released on, actually 2015, released on an album last year, 2017. And now you've heard a version from 1970 in Guinea by a dance band. So you can see that there are many different ways of representing these traditional pieces of music. Well, I say traditional, but it was composed. I'm not sure when. C'était composé quand par Siramori? La chanson Demande à Awa. Est-ce qu'elle se rappelle de cette chanson? Elle n'a pas vu, elle n'était pas présente?
Elle était présente, mais bon, je pense qu'elle ne s'est pas intéressée à connaître quand
est-ce qu'elle connaissait Kanimba?
Oui, elle connaissait Kanimba.
Demande à elle. Bon, qu'est-ce qu'elle pense de la différence entre Horoya et Trio Dakali avec Kronos?
Différence, mais Horoya ni bandini en taille. Kanimba là.
Kanimba. Kanimba. Ah, bon. Nous nunca dachugo ani aunta bo atekele donne.
These two versions are very different, she says.
Atekele parce que nous nunta fendo bala on yere feneta en fene sonne manta nyina anta ngadide.
Ah, comment?
Peut-être pour eux, ils pensent qu'ils étaient meilleurs à leur époque, mais elles pensent que ce qu'elle fait là, c'est mieux que par rapport à...
Awa says that she thinks that everyone always thinks that she thinks that some people say that it was better in the old times. But when she hears these two versions, she definitely thinks that the new version is better.
C'est comme si quelqu'un qui vient du village et quelqu'un qui est né au capital.
She feels like it's the difference between these two versions. It's like, someone who comes from the deep countryside and someone who comes from the city.
Si on l'écoute, on dit, ça c'est trop villageois.
So she feels the older version is quite dated.
Now, there are some very special cases. You mentioned you work with Taj Mahal and West African musicians. So that means that the black music from Africa means the black music from the United States. And then the Africans often feel it's their music, which the bluesmen are playing. And, well, the last case actually was on the Kronos Quartet album, when there was a gospel tune. Can you tell the full story?
Okay, well, do you have that? Do you have that track?
No,
do you have it?
No, we just have to explain.
Oh, that's a shame. Okay, well, on the album by Trio Dakali with Kronos Quartet, there are two versions of songs by the great gospel singer Mahalia Jackson, and we reworked them and gave them new arrangements. And I don't know, have any of you heard of Mahalia Jackson? Mahalia Jackson, nothing to do with Michael Jackson, not the same family.
To je jedna ze zásadních a nejvýznamnějších zpěvaček gospelu, čili žánru, který je kombinací černošské hudby a církevních zpěvů. A
Mahalia Jackson was a civil rights leader. She was a great friend of Martin Luther King. And she, when Martin Luther King gave his famous speech, "I have a dream," that was Mahalia Jackson who stood next to him and said, "Martin, tell them about your dream." And then he put his script down and he started to say, "I have a dream." That was Mahalia Jackson who said that.
And then David Harrington played her song to Hawa.
Well, when David Harrington, the leader of the Kronos Quartet, the first violin, when he first met Awa, he said, "Oh my God, she looks like Mahalia Jackson and she sounds like Mahalia Jackson. This is the closest I've got to the great gospel singer, Mahalia Jackson." So that's why we put two songs in that album.
And the song is on the album in the Bambara language.
Yes, everything she sings is in Bamana, the language of Mali. Yeah,
But
we translated the lyrics from Mahalia Jackson's song.
Maybe it will be also good to show the other side of this oral tradition being transmitted, like the great epic story of Sunjata Keita, who was the emperor of the larger region where Mali was in the center. And this is actually a topic of many songs in Mali, and also sort of key to the Malian identity.
Yes, although I think that's changing, but yes, Sunjata Keita was the founder of the Mali Empire. He rose to power in 1235, and the story of Sunjata Keita's rise to power is remembered by the griots, particularly by the family of Awa Kasamadi.
So now are there any questions? Rádi byste se zeptali na cokoliv o hudbě západní Afriky, o koncertě, který proběhl v Gongu, Aha.
Ale já bych česky.
Ano, českým, a já to přeložím.
Že jsem byla na veřejných záchodcích a slyšela jsem zpěv tady této paní a pak jsem šla na tu plochu, kde byla ta obrazovka veliká a strašně moc lidí tam tancovalo a bylo úplně nadšených, jako ať nejsou smutní, že tady není ani noha, jako teďka, jo? Protože oni byli neuvěřitelní. Úplně dali tu energii těm lidem, co byli venku, co se nemohli dostat dovnitř, protože nebyly lístky. A ta paní, jak se na konci roztancovala to a ten hlas, jako... Já jsem tady šla, protože jsem si myslela, že tady bude hrozně lidí, kteří si budou chtít povídat tady s tímto triem. A vůbec jsem nečekala, že tady budu sama, jo, plus nějací, no teď už přišlo víc lidí.
Já jsem nerozuměl úplně přesně, ten koncert byl Shake Low?
Ten byl v Gongu a venku byla velká obrazovka. Aha. A pak jsou tam nějaké záchody, nějaké tojtojky a já jsem je slyšela v tom záchodě. Aha. A pak jsem si říkala, ty bláho, co to je, jako jo, to... Jako proti tomu kraválu, co tu je všude, tak toto byl první koncert dneska, který mě zaujal tím hlasem a prostě to bylo něco neuvěřitelného. Ať nejsou smutní, jako jo.
This was just a statement, because so many people couldn't fit into the Gong auditorium, and these crowds were outside, watching the display and dancing. And it was such a strong contrast about the more mainstream music being played on the other stages. So,
c'est intéressant ça. Il dit que la dame a dit que il pouvait pas entrer dans la salle. Donc ils étaient dehors. Il y avait des grands écrans où ils voyaient, écoutaient ce que vous venez de faire, et les gens dansaient dans le foyer.
Si c'était devant nous, ça allait nous motiver de plus.
If you had been dancing in front of them, That would have motivated them. That would have inspired them.
Mě těší, že je tolik spřízněných duší, které sledovali ten koncert, i když tady vlastně tolik diváků nepřišlo. Nicméně doporučuji zítra koncert Umu Sangare, ArcelorMittal Stage od 6 do 7 hodiny. Umu Sangare is here tomorrow. Would you like to comment or recommend?
No, I think we need to go. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm really sorry, but we have to go back to the concert. We have a concert now with Sekou Keita and Omar Sosa. And Sekou Keita is a cousin. And if we're not there, it's going to look very bad for them. So I hope you forgive us. We need to go.
Já vřele taky doporučuji koncert. Děkuji za návštěvu a za to, že jste přišli.
But thank you for coming.